Good evening. Valerie Milano here, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times and Aspiring Magazine. And I am so glad to have our guests here. I just left Palm Springs, the short film festival. I'm back in Los Angeles, but I'm going to have each one of them introduce themselves and then we will go and do our interview. So thank you, three ladies, for joining me. And yeah, okay, it's your turn.
Thank you so much for having us and doing this Q&A with us. It means the world to us. My name is Vaidaangi Sharma. I'm the writer, director of Kuchar, The Itch, which just won the Best International Short Film at Palm Springs Short Fest 2025. And currently I'm in Palm Springs. I just finished watching the second screening of our film. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sumedha Mittal. I am the producer of Kuchar, The Itch, and I'm in Mumbai currently, and I'm just waiting for Vedangi to come back so we can celebrate our little win.
Hmm.
Oh, and
Hi.
also to mention, I'm so sorry, just to mention, this is the first ever time uh, as a group, I think we're gathering together. So, yay.
Yay, yes.
Hmm.
Great.
Hi, I'm Subhashree Sahoo and I play Chanda in Kuchar the Itch.
Yeah, yay.
And I'm
Thank you.
currently in Mumbai.
Thank you, ladies, again so much for joining me. And because I don't speak other languages, if I was to call you by your real names, I would butcher it, not on purpose, but just because so I'm going to call, I've already talked to y'all before we started filming about what I'm going to do here. So surprise our audience. Okay, yay, congratulations again. I'm so thrilled to have seen this film. It, in my opinion, is probably the best film that I've seen at both those film festivals that I said I was working on, Dances with Films and the Palm Springs Shorts Film Festival. Badanga, hi. The film explores some intimate themes around sexuality and self-discovery. What inspired you to tell this particular story?
Oh, wow. A lot, a lot. I think my whole life inspired me to tell this story. I think my gender inspired me to tell this story. I think my country inspired me to tell this story because I feel like there is such a dearth of stories around female sexuality from a certain gaze of innocence, and especially in the subcontinent where we all come from. And I actually, fun fact, now that we're talking about it and you want me to surprise the audiences, my childhood best friend, she told me when we were 20 years old that she discovered pleasure at a very young age. And she didn't tell me for 10 years of our friendship. And that was shocking to me. And I asked her why. And she said she thought I'll judge her. You know, someone as young as us, she thought I would judge her. And that really hit me because it was bizarre to me that someone who's my bestest friend and doesn't have that kind of a societal conditioning still thinks and is made to believe that she cannot find that safe space outside of her own personal space. So I think that was a very big reason. That was like an inciting incident almost, which kind of further pushed me into this final direction. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for that. Were there, well, okay, you know what I want to do? I want to ask Sue, given the bold subject matter, were there any challenges in terms of financing or getting the film off the ground?
Surprisingly, no. Not to get it off the ground. I think when Venangi first ever pitched the film to me, there was so much heart in it. There was so much innocence in it, and there was so much grit and passion that I think everyone else who sort of joined the project along the way after that, um, I think for everybody, and I'm going to say this with utmost pride, everybody who joined us from, like one piece of the puzzle after the other, I think everyone was pushing it in a direction to make it happen. I think they could actually see through her vision, which is what made it really, really easy. I don't think any of us ever found it difficult to communicate what we're trying to do here, or the fact that it is a bold subject. I don't think anybody was looking at it that way. It was really looked at as a story that is really, really worth telling. It was shocking how many people resonated with it. It was so much fun to discover how childlike almost, everyone would become when they would start talking about uh, their experiences, and with pleasure, with and their self-discovery journey. And I just think there was only love there. Yeah, there were hardly any fears, mostly love.
Okay, Shonda. Now, this is not Shonda's real name, but I'm calling her that because it's easier for me to pronounce for all you readers and all you looky-loos. Shonda, the relationship in the movie with your mother is key in the film.
Yes.
How did you approach portraying the tension and eventually connection between the two?
Oh, so I knew, so Neha Vyaso plays my mother, and I knew her from before. She actually, when I went to my drama school of Mumbai, uh, for that 1 or 2 days, she had held a workshop there. So she was kind of my teacher. So I already knew, and she was very warm. So we already had that kind of a student-teacher relationship. And I think to describe Neha, she's like the epitome of love for me. And so it was quite easy to kind of just play her daughter, actually. She made it so easy for me. So yeah.
And I don't know if we can talk about this on camera, but I would like to. Shonda, what about your real mom? Can you talk about your real mom? And I believe that you're 23 in real life and you play a 14-year-old, and
Yes.
you look a lot younger than 23. But if y'all don't mind, I would love to hear a little bit about how your real mom feels and what she knows or doesn't know about the film.
She knows what the film is about in bits and pieces, but yeah, I'm quite excited and nervous for them, for both my parents to see the film. Actually, all our parents.
Yeah, so whoever wants to answer this is a film about secrets, both the ones we keep from others and from ourselves, really. How do you think the film speaks to universal struggles around identity and self-acceptance?
I feel that there is I mean, I'm going to take this one. It's just, I've been answering this around, I guess. But I feel that there is a certain perspective that comes with gaze, and ours is very gentle in a sense. And I feel that that's what brings the universality of the emotions. And I feel that in terms of identity, I feel that this is what surprised me even in our screenings here, that old women, young women, teenagers walked up to me, spoke to me about the film, and we're exposed to so many stories surrounding identity in today's world. It is one of the most impactful, one of the most, I mean, we still need to tell so many stories about identity because I think it's human to be the most confused about identity because it's such an ever evolving state of affairs that you're not ever stuck at one, and it's so fluid. It's always a spectrum. You may think something today, you may think something about, 10 years later where you are in life. And I just feel like um, what helps us is the specificity of the duration in which we've played in the story, in terms of it being a story over a couple of few days and weeks, just a focused phase of someone's life, because I think that helps to show a mirror. Because essentially, in a feature format, a coming of age would go through many different phases and evolution, but we have that 20-minute window to show that evolution. So the key was to be focused in terms of just that specific incident and just that specific phase in our protagonist's life. And I think that really helps with the universality of it, because when you don't let the audience's mind scatter into too many different directions and phases, they're able to relate to what is happening in the moment much more. And I feel even our cinematography in that sense. Shout out to our amazing, beautiful cinematographer, Siddhant Khemka. We prepped so much and we tried to develop a language where we were extremely close to our characters at all times, where we felt like we were a part of their world. So you don't feel very distant from them. You won't observe a lot of wide masters in the film. That was a very conscious choice. And I feel all of this somehow, the language of the film, this focus of the phase of the film, the duration of the film, it adds to it for sure. It helps it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. So, how did you support Vaidaangi in bringing this very special vision to the screen, especially as a debut filmmaker?
I mean, I think I'm going to start by saying that when you are looking to when you live in a city like this where everybody you meet around, everybody who's walking around you is living, breathing stories and is constantly, pitching ideas, etc. To meet someone like Vedangi, who, like, by the by, would just never sounded like someone who's going to make a debut, because I think she had a very, very, very clear perspective on a lot of things, which was enduring, shocking, and really, really interesting to, like, from a bird's eye view, just to observe. That was a lot of fun. Um, she knew exactly what colors she wants, what her thesis is going to be around how she wants to approach it visually or thematically or emotionally. There was a lot of clarity there. And as a producer, sometimes that is all you need to sort of, place your bet on or place your heart on. And yeah, I think that she had an impeccable sense of clarity with which she wanted to tell the story. And sometimes that is very important when you are making your debut, because it was, like she rightly said, it's so focused and it's so simple, yet it's so, it tends to get complex when you start going deeper into it. But she did it with a lot of dignity and grace.
I think I mean, she's going to be modest about it, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. But as the producer of the film, I think the biggest responsibility is to not just champion your director, but hold them back and balance them at the right times without letting them think that you're doing that. I think that is the smartest job of a producer. And she has done that on like 365 days of 365 days of us working on this film. And, just the main job of a producer and a filmmaker is essentially to bring in perspective because the director is so attached to everything and sometimes extremely emotionally overwhelmed by everything that could be happening around. And the producer is essentially the anchor of the film for everyone. They're the point of contact. I mean, I still get to hear things that I didn't hear about a year ago. But now she's telling me because the shoot has happened. So it's also about protecting your director. It's about protecting your crew. And it's about, I mean, she has single-handedly, like with such so much grace and dignity and grit and passion and dedication, handled the post-production of the film, which was a nightmare actually, because we took so much time, even though we had all the HODs, we had everything in place, but we were getting stuck in so many loops because of so many different constraints and timelines and budget and availability and unavailability of just general capital that, I think the most important job of producer is to kind of hold that together. And that is what, we were lucky enough to get and procure on this project because of our producer.
My
Yeah.
goodness, yes. How long did it take you to film?
3 shoot days.
Pre-shoot days.
3, you said?
Yes.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoa, that was fast. Good job. Um,
Thank you. And we were approaching the monsoons, and the monsoon in
It was
Mumbai was
scary.
quite hellish. So we were petrified. But I think we were just very, very, very lucky. We got lucky. The weather was great, and we managed to sail through in three shoot days.
um, Shonda, the scene where you discover pleasure is a pivotal moment in the film. How did you approach
Yeah.
filming that scene, especially given its sensitivity?
Huh. I was actually quite like I think the most nervous about it, especially because it's my first time on screen and all of that. And I think every time Vaidangi and I met before the shoot, we would talk about the scene and we would be like, it's such a, like you said, pivotal scene. Um, actually, how do I answer this? I don't know. We rehearsed, uh, okay, fun fact, I would, while traveling and all, because it had to be fake but also had to look real, I would just outdoors while I was traveling in auto rickshaws or anywhere, if I'm sitting in a local train or somewhere, I would just kind of start rehearsing that bit.
Gotcha.
Okay, because especially if I'm in an auto and no one can see me at night, it's all dark. So I would just start rehearsing it.
Right.
And then at my house and everything, I'm like, it was so weird. Those few, whatever, months have been quite weird. But yeah.
Yeah. I
But
also
that
feel that
rehearsal with Vedangi.
Can you say that one more time, Shonda? And then we're going to hear from
Oh,
Vaidaangi.
I mean, yeah, I mean, we rehearsed as well once, and then right before the shoot, I sat on the washing machine and everything. She sat on the washing machine. There was a lot of that also.
Okay, cute.
the world didn't need to know that and visualize that. There's enough of
Yeah, we
it.
did.
Enough
Everybody's going
of
to want.
it. Oh yeah. But I feel that what was spectacular was that we were able to capture this sense of rawness because Chanda, because I also call her Chanda, and it has nothing to do with the fact that I can't pronounce her name, but it's just out of love. And I feel that what came in very handy and like it's been a blessing because you cannot tell that she's acted on screen for the first time. But she has been doing theater for such a long time, and she's been a performer since she was growing up, and she was a dancer when she was growing up, and expressive eyes, expressive face. And of course, I feel that we spent a lot of time talking about it, and actually, quite strangely, we did not want to lose the magic of the moment when we actually end up shooting it. So we tried to, even though it was nerve-wracking because we were all doing this for the first time, but we still took the chance to not rehearse that many times because I didn't want the magic of that to kind of dissolve into thin air. And another fun fact, she did it in 2 takes, and the first take was better. So that's
Okay.
the kind of brilliance we were playing with. So that's why 3 shoot days,
Yeah.
not many retakes. That's why.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, on that subject, Vedanga, Shanda's journey is one of self-discovery, as we've talked about. What do you hope that the audience will take away from the mother's journey as well?
I feel like even though when you think about it from a lens of a protagonist, you know that this is an adolescent story, but I have always, at the core of it, thought of it and felt for it to be a story about a mother and daughter because it's about navigating that strange time together because it's not just about a teenager being a teenager for the first time. A mother is also being a mother for the first time. You are also navigating all the changes in your children or like in your daughter's lives for the first time. And I feel that I want mothers to take away the fact that even though conversations can be very hard to be had because probably they never got it or, they have that conditioning where they didn't get it from their mothers. It doesn't mean that, I mean, knocking at your daughter's door is not that hard. It can happen. You don't even have to probably broach the subject. You don't even have to probably have a very intense conversation around it. You just have to knock. It's as simple as that. So I hope that mothers realize that this is a story about also their agency. This is not just about a coming of age story for a teenager exploring that for the first time in her life. This is about the mother understanding how to protect her daughter and forming that bond beyond the societal constructs and what society tells you to believe, that there have to be certain boundaries, there have to be certain norms, and mother-daughter relationships are very complex. Sometimes on the face of it, they are the friendlier parent to have, but also sometimes it's quite complex. It's not as easy, you know. So I hope that mothers understand that though it's not easy, this is the most important thing to do, because when you teach your daughters at the right age about safe spaces and their own bodies and what is around them and what is right and what is wrong, which is also essentially sex education, which also horribly lacks in our country. Like there's a dearth of it again. I feel that it is even more important than for mothers to have this conversation with their daughters, because if their daughters knew their own bodies and they knew what was safe and what was not, we would be navigating in a better world today. Yeah.
Yeah. If I may add something to that, I've shared this story with Vedangi, and this is one of the early conversations we had when we decided we'll work together on the film. But I was a very, very tiny girl, and there was this one time where my grandmom, in the darkness of the night, she was, whispering to me about some of the things she feels and about how she feels about pleasure and desire. And um, I mean, I don't want to get into the details of the conversation, but I was really tiny, is what I remember. And it made me so uncomfortable that night. And suddenly, with time, I think I realized that she was the first person who introduced that conversation in my life, and it was suddenly feeling as I was growing up, I that conversation stayed with me for so long, and I started feeling comforted because she has shared her emotions with me. Um, so, in context of the film, I think the idea is not just for daughters to be able to mirror their mothers, but I hope that whoever is holding on to a secret, whether it's the mother, whether it's the daughter, I just hope that they're able to, look at each other and like, I'm here. I just hope that happens.
Yeah. On that note, the film balances cultural and personal themes so well. Are there any pressures to any of you or consideration of how the film would be received? I don't know if it's been shown in India, but definitely by the international audience.
It hasn't
Um,
been shown in India as yet. It is, I mean, this was our world premiere. This was the first set of audiences the film has ever had. But I think if I can take that, um, I think I think I mean, I can only talk about myself right now, but I think I'm the most nervous actually about bringing it back home because as Vedanti has rightly pointed out, there are so many. There's just it's not the easiest to be a woman and tell a story. It's not the easiest to be a woman and tell a story about pleasure, about about your sexual needs, about desires. All of those are not very easy things to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, jitters. I don't know. Yeah.
I think I was very nervous before our first screening here because I was shit scared that a lot of, because it's people from all around the world, but also mostly Americans. I thought that there is so much texture in the film in terms of culture. And I thought that a few things sometimes, no matter how well translated in subtitles, it gets lost in translation sometimes. The nuances and certain cultural, subcontext. But strangely, to my shock and now to our win, everyone has received it so well with open arms, and people have come up to us and they have seen a part of themselves in the story, man, woman, or not, or either. Everyone has seen a fragment of themselves in the story. So I think I am a bit more confident now. I was not before, But I think being here at this festival has definitely enabled me and changed my perspective towards this. And I think not just for me, but a lot of filmmakers, because we had 311 films from 64 countries. So we've had the joy of meeting so many different people from all over the world, and everyone had these fears. It's not just us. That, made us all feel seen at the same time. And yeah, I think this was a great festival to enable that for young filmmakers, for sure.
I'm so glad that you were able to come out to Palm Springs, United States yourself, because I do a lot of interviews, and a lot of times the filmmakers don't make it out to a particular
Yeah.
festival. And thank you and welcome and congratulations. I just have one more question for Shonda, and then one for all of you. Shonda, how do you think Shonda's story will resonate with young audiences, especially in conservative societies?
Huh. I mean, like I told you earlier before the interview started, that when we were talking, that in my house I have never had the sex talk, and even when we do talk about it, it's those terms are never used, right? We never say sex or orgasm. And in fact, the first time I spoke to my mom about sex and orgasming and whatever was because of this film. So I genuinely do hope, like what Sumedha and Vaidaangi both said, it is nerve-wracking actually when like I don't know what will happen when we screen it here and when our parents watch it. Like me on screen orgasming for like I don't know. It is so nerve-wracking. But I hope that yeah, like this film reminds them of their first time and the first time they experienced this, and it just kind of makes it all normal and like just it is a form of self-love, honestly. And it's like, yeah, and I hope that they feel okay about talking about it, and especially to their parents, because that's the safest place. So yeah.
I want to come there when y'all show it to your friends and
Oh,
family.
please. We
I
would
want to see
love to host you. We would love to host you. Please, you're more than welcome. You
Yes,
have 3 homes in Bombay. Yeah,
yes.
please.
Just
it.
yesterday, we were sort of, a bunch of us from the crew, we were hanging out, just celebrating the win. And I was telling them, I was like, the one screening I'm the most excited about is to invite the cast and crew and all of our parents, just all parents. Yeah.
I love that.
I
Put
think that'll
cameras in front of
Uh,
their faces to record their reactions.
be.
I don't think I'll allow that. No, that's not happening. We're not recording any parents' reactions. Let them absorb.
Absorb and
Yeah.
process.
Yeah, we're going to
Yes.
want to just look at their faces since we've all seen it before, right? We just want to look at their faces.
Yeah.
You know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so adorable.
Yes.
Oh my God, I had such a great time tonight. So how can our readers and our viewers find out more about the film and about each one of you if they want to contact you? I don't know how that works in India. I mean, can they look at social media? You work with website. Maybe we can go, maybe it's the
Uh,
answer.
We have you can find us on social media, of course, individually as well, but we are running a page for the film on Instagram called Kuchar the Film, where we're trying to, just whatever is happening with the film, and we mean to document the entire journey and reactions and have fun and introduce the crew at some point, and yeah, just keep everyone posted.
Yeah, and this was also our world premiere, so the page has just, started gaining momentum, and what a momentum it has begun with. But I feel that people can, I mean, our films page would be the most ideal thing because we are literally doing all kinds of updates. Like even when I have been here in Palm Springs, I've been posting about it, sharing stories, all kinds of snippets, and where our film could be screening next, and which theater it was happening in, for example. So every such kind of an information or any kind of a database, it is there, like available on the page of our film, on the Instagram page of our film. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, we're the Hollywood Times today, and aspiringmagazine.com is our hard copy magazine. And our YouTube channel is the Hollywood Times Official. So thanks all of you three for being with me today and talk about this wonderful film. And I know it's going to go far. I feel it in my heart.
Thank you
Oh,
so much.
thank you so much. The
Thank you so
pleasure was all ours.
Yes, yes, it's
Thank
been
you
an
so
honor.
much.
It's been an honor.
Yes. Keep up the great work, and I hope y'all go far. Please keep us in contact with you for your next endeavors, please. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Have a
you
great
so
day
much.
and night.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, great. Bye-bye.